Yo, what it is, YouTube, is your boy DC coming back with another bullseye of a tutorial here today on the channel. We're gonna actually be doing a tiers list video talking about the best vocal EQ plugins. All right. So if you guys do like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Down below in the comment box, let me know what you think about the channel. If you want to support it, check the links. Okay, so let's get to it right now. So just more type of tiers list videos I should be doing. Okay, so we got the tiers. The first one gonna be mix and master, which is the top tier. Pretty much the best plugs that make the mix and master. And these are all vocal EQs. So if y'all want to see me do different type of EQs like mastering EQs, etc., drum bus EQs, let me know down below. Then we got rough mix, which is one tier below that. And then we have vocal templates. So plugins that are good enough to make the template, and rough mix is like the ones that are good for the demo but not on the actual mix and master. And then we have debatable, which is like the plugins that we kind of hardly use right before we delete them, which is at the very bottom. All right, so I want to just dive into this right now. The Pultec definitely gonna have to go into the mix and master. So for the mix and master tier, I think definitely on a lot of my vocal mixes, I use the Pultec a lot because it's beautiful in the sense that it has a very round shape. Digital EQs have more of a direct type of shape. They kind of remind me of like a perfect circle, right? A perfect circle versus like a circle that you draw. It kind of is going to have some errors and some like, weird type of shapes, and it's not going to be straight the whole way. But that's what makes it sound more human. That's what makes it sound more real. And that's what the Pultec gives. I love how it's great for top end. It's also great for low end as well of a vocal. Like really bringing out like the 100 hertz cycle can make a vocal feel like thick. You feel me? And I love also the very underrated filters, but the very underrated MEQ5. So that's great for helping the vocal cut through a mix when you go in between those mid-range knobs of the dip and the peak. So that's why it's going at the top tier. So after that, let's see. I think that a lot of the times, this is a very, I expected more from this plugin right here, which is the AutoTune vocal EQ. Now, it kind of reminds me of like Surfer EQ, where it kind of like chases a note or whatever and stuff like that. But I think it's after that, like it's kind of like not really offering anything new. I think it's dope in the sense that you have like different ways of EQing with like the low male, the alter tenor. Like it kind of has like an input type of thing to it. But when it comes to sound, I don't feel like it has much of a sound or much of a use case. It's not really offering us nothing new in terms of sonic enhancement. So that's why I'm gonna put it in the debatable, because I've got it, but I hardly ever use it. All right. So after that, for the Neve 1073 from the UAD, I'm definitely slamming that into the mix and master tier. One of the better vocal EQs is gonna have to be that Neve, because of that EQ circuitry. Even when you don't actually use the EQ, it's the overall circuitry of the plugin is great. And I like the 1084 too, but I'll put the 1084 one step back. I feel like the 1084 is not as versatile as the 1073, even though they're both great. But I find myself using the 1073 better, and just so that the list is like not too heavy on mix and master, I'm gonna put it in the rough mix. Still great at EQ 1084. Okay, FabFilter Pro Q3 or Pro Q4, that's gotta go in the mix and master tier. That's one of the best EQs that I would recommend for people to use, as it has the most versatility when it comes to like the real-time radar, allowing you to hear, and also see visually what's going on. And then after that, you might have a situation where you get to also notch out frequencies. I like to use this mostly to like notch out vocals and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I love to like notch out vocals and notch out resonances, and it has dynamic EQ. The new FabFilter Pro Q4 has a bunch of different stuff in it. So I think it's really dope, and it's one of the better EQ plugins in terms of side chaining and linking one EQ to another thing. So it's so super versatile. All right. After that, we have the Mag EQ. Mag EQ damn near got to go mix and master, bro. I can't even cap. Just the air. I don't think it's just the air band, bro. It's just like all the other bands in it are just so musical, and their shapes are just so nice and round. So it's got to go in the mix and master tier. It would be a damn shame if the timeless Mag EQ did it. I think that the smart EQ is a dope EQ too. I feel like it's kind of gimmicky though. Like when you have these little EQs that offer like AI technology and perfect EQing and stuff like that, I don't think that they actually enable people to actually like learn learn and actually get better at mixing. So I'm gonna put it in the vocal template. It's good enough for the vocal template, but oftentimes like these plugins, they're supposed to be intended to just you just slap it on and it does the EQing, but I often find myself using it as a starting point and then, playing around with it a little bit. So it's like I never even use it for what it's intended to be used for, which is just the automatic AI EQ. AI is supposed to be AI. It's supposed to just do the job, right? Type shit like that. You feel me? Like you ask Chat GPT for answer, it gives you the answer. That's the whole point of AI, I feel like. So yeah, that's why that's going there. The SSL Violet EQ, which is really dope. I use that on vocals. I like the shelving type of sounds you can kind of get out of it. So I'm gonna put it in vocal template. It's definitely good enough, but I feel like it has a specific sound, and if that sound is not always appropriate for the vocal I'm working on, so I'm throwing it in the vocal template. Then Nectar from Isotope. I'm gonna put that in vocal template too. I think it's really dope. I feel like it's if I had to pick between FabFilter or Nectar, I'm gonna go with FabFilter. So that's why I'm throwing it into vocal template because it's the same type of digital EQ like FabFilter, but it's like a Dollar Tree FabFilter that I bought from Dollar General. It's not the real like whole bells and whistles that you get with the FabFilter. So that's why I put it right there in vocal template. So let me know what you guys think down below so far about the list. How do you feel? Do you feel like one plugin should be another tier, or am I getting it right so far? Let me know your guys' opinion. All right. So after that, the Waves Abbey Road TG 1 2 3 4 5. I know that it's made for mastering, but I actually enjoy it enough on vocals, and it has like some really dope different cues. So that's why I won't put it in debatable. I'll put it in vocal template because it has like a bell shelf, like a wide bell, like it has all these different musical cues that are really dope. Cues like the cue, like the shape of the EQ, and then after that, on top of all that, it's got the filters, and the filter section is really dope. The filter section is really colored, and it's even though it's fixed, I think it's great for beginners to use a EQ like that kind of already has like some fixed frequencies that just work, and learn how to perfect that type of stuff. So yeah, API Vision Strip, that's gotta go to mix and master tier, bruh, just because of the between the 560 and of course, like, it's the same shit. So 560 and the 550, those are like literally classic EQs. And I like how like the 550 was kind of like the Fab Filter before Fab Filter type shit, the graphic EQ and all that stuff like that. And just in general, even the proportional Q on the API, like the 560, I believe, is so musical. And as you boost it more, it becomes more doesn't it become more narrow as you boost it, and as you like cut, it becomes more wider, something like that, something along the lines of the portional Q. Don't get caught up in that stuff too much. Just know it's one of the best EQs to have. Neve 88RS, I'm gonna put that in rough mix. I love the EQ section on that channel strip, just because it's super warm, and it kind of reminds me of the SSL too. The SSL, we'll put the SSL EQ in the rough mix. Sometimes with the channel strips, you might find yourself, because we're in the modern era. That's why the API always works, because we're in a modern, it has that modern sound, versus where these like the SSL has a warm sound, and that's not always appropriate for rap music. Sometimes you want that super digital clarity. You feel me? Even though people say, "Oh, it's digital, it sounds harsh and shit." With rap music specifically, you kind of want that 2025 fresh off the plastic. Like when you buy a video game at the store, and the plastic, you rip off that first layer of plastic, and it's just a brand new thing right out the wrapper. That's what API 20 API EQ sound like to me, and all the other stuff kind of sounds like a paper bag where it's not as clear, but it's still plastic. You feel me? It's kind of like dingy a little bit. That's how I feel about the warmer EQs. They have a usage case as well, but is the song appropriate for that type of sound? So that's why I'm throwing it in rough mix. You know, the Trident EQ, I'm throwing that in the debatable. Honestly, I might even throw it in delete. It's okay. It's okay, but I feel like it's kind of limited in the way that it's only just shelves and stuff like that. So I'm gonna put that in the delete, 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 because if I just wanna, I oftentimes find myself using a combination of shelving and cutting together. So that's why, if it's a situation like that, we'll just go with something like the Fab Filter. So yeah, I don't think it's colored enough and distinguished enough in the preamp, the input section, to be warranted to be used on vocals that much. So I'm putting that in the delete. Some's got to go and delete. what is this one? This is the Chandler EQ. I think it's dope for vocals. Give it a try on vocals. The filter section, the mid side too. You know, sometimes you might want a little bit of a mid side on your like your background vocals or your ad libs where you're just boosting the sides to give a perceived feeling of width. So that's why I think it's versatile, and I'm putting it in the rough mix. All right. Vocal template, we're gonna go with the TLA. The TLA is cool, but like I said, it's warm. But even though it's warm, I feel like it's less versatile than these other warm channel strips right here, like the SSL and the Neve 88RS. So that's why it's going in the vocal template. All right, so let's look after this. We're gonna go with the Helios. I'm gonna put Helios in the rough mix. I don't hate the Helios too much, but I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put it in the rough mix. All right. So I'm gonna put it in the rough mix right now. The Helios is just better for me, I feel like. So yeah, the Weiss is cool, but I'll put it in vocal template. It's got a sound of oversampling, but I don't know. I feel like FabFilter, when you want a digital EQ, you go with FabFilter. Voice of God, put that in the rough mix because it's made for vocals. It's made to bring out like low mid resonance in vocal to make it have more body. But for me personally, sometimes you don't need it. Sometimes you might want the Pultec. Sometimes you might want the Pultec to give you that vocal boost. You feel me? Because it's a little bit more rounder versus where this is like resonance and very sharp. Then split EQ, I'm throwing split EQ and mix and master as it's both a EQ and a transient enhancer at the same time. So it's a really dope EQ. All right, so this is pretty much the end of the video. I just want to say thanks a lot for being a great part of my YouTube family. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And down below, if you want to support the channel, check the links. And in the comments, let me know what you think and suggest more ideas. Appreciate y'all now, YouTube gang. Peace.